back, and thank you for tuning in to the Legacy Business Show. This segment will showcase a Belizean entrepreneur, or in tonight's episode, Belizean entrepreneurs making significant waves in the economy each week. These are forward-thinking individuals who are pushing boundaries and breaking barriers. In exploring education this week, we know that things have changed in the business of education, where books may not have the same role as they did a few years ago. However, this dynamic duo has found a way to make the business of books survive. So on our show today, we welcome Katherine and Christopher Meighan, owners of Bricks and Books Cafe and the Book Center. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I've had the pleasure of visiting the coffee shop a couple times, and it's so different and it has a different ambiance. So I want to know more about the journey of and how it came about, but most importantly, touch base on the heritage of it, because it is a heritage site. So can you explain that a bit to our viewers?
Absolutely, I could get started. So we've been, and this is really like a passion project. This is something that came from so many ideas, and we're happy we're here now to start. We're lucky as well because the building is a family-owned building, and we are a part of that family. And so I must say that we're grateful that we got the opportunity to get access to that building and try to bring it back to life. The building, to the best of our knowledge, and we're still trying to learn because there's so much history and it goes back so far, is we believe it goes back to the early 1800s.
Wow.
So we think it was built probably somewhere in the 1820s, 1830s. It was actually passed over to probably three, four great-grandfathers back. His name was William Foreman, and he inherited it from his dad, who was another William. And we know he inherited it in 1851. So that tells you if he inherited at that point, it was probably there for at least 10, 20 years before then. So we're lucky. It's the two floors, the ground floor and the first floor is made of ballast bricks. So as you see, we have that unique experience and unique opportunity to have a place of that sort. Very colonial in its layout as well. So that kind of speaks to the history of what we had. So we had beautiful bones that we could work with. And the whole idea and concept of the cafe stems from the idea of how can we bring the story of selling books and the business of selling books, and how can we interconnect it to have an experience. Nothing's better than, sitting down, reading a book, having coffee, having tea, having an experience, having a nice, quiet, even mental health break from the reality that we have today, which is you're on your phone, you're at work, you're on your computer. So we felt that a great mix of that, considering all those different dynamics, would be a good entrepreneurial business to get started with.
That's amazing. Did you always know that this was going to happen, or was this something that just came out of thin air, the idea to incorporate the coffee shop with the books in your family?
Not at all. We did not foresee this a couple years back.
It really kind of came out of thin air, like you said. It was just that we wanted to make use of the space that we had, and the book center needed to get a little revamp in terms of sales and something to give it a spark. And well, the coffee shop did come in, and it's been doing wonders and helping us a lot. So
how long has it been open?
Since
September 4th.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
It's still very new.
Yeah. It has been picking up a lot of traction from what I've seen on social media. It's something different as well, but what makes it stand out compared to other cafes or coffee shops within Belize City or Belize as a whole?
Well, if I may, one thing that is very nice about it is that it's in the heart, or what we call the heart of the business part of Belize City, and Regent Street, Albert Street. Down there can be very hectic during the weekend, beginning of the months, and during the week, the weekend, and it's somewhere that you can kind of escape. Because when you're in there, it's easy for a half hour to pass by, and you really don't know anything. You really don't even notice. Particularly even if you pick up a book, it could be an hour you're in there and you don't even notice.
One of the things I wanted to add to that, if I may, is the whole concept that we had was let's give somebody who steps in something to see and something to think about, right, while you're there. And if you are just there for coffee, because we have a lot of customers that just come in and say, guess what, I just need a break from work. I'll come in at 3, get a coffee, and go. Then we have other customers that come in and love the experience and the quiet, as Chris was saying, it's kind of like a little oasis. Out from the hustle and bustle of the environment as well. And our goal was to try to have something to see, something to do, and something to talk about. And we had the bones in the building, so it was a great compliment.
I definitely agree, and I know that the Book Center has played a huge role when it comes to providing educational materials for different grades and levels of education within Belize. So Mr. Meighan, I know that your parents look for the Book Center to purchase their books. Can you tell us about that?
All right, so the Book Center, for a little history lesson there, it started in 1976 as the Cathedral Bookstore, which was right next to the Holy Redeemer Cathedral. It was a wooden 2-story building back then, and they sold books. And again, 1976, time has passed and it's gone through many evolutions. At one point, it was right there in the corner building, and then it moved to Church Street, where it was for many years above the Thrift Center. Many viewers probably would remember that kids would go there for arted comics and magazines, etc. It was very popular there. And unfortunately, in 2008, there was a fire in that building and it burned down. And shortly after that, they reopened on North Front Street. And it's been there since, and it still is there. So this is number 1 North Front Street, and at that location it was sort of not heavily trafficked, I would say. So the idea about having an outlet at Regent Street was an idea that when it popped up, it was something I definitely wanted to grab at. And in terms of school books, Thrift Center, above the Thrift Center, was really known as somewhere you have to go for your school books. And after the fire, people thought we didn't exist anymore. So now people have found us again and realize, oh wait, that's that same store I used to go to, or my mom used to take me when I was a kid, or even my grandmother used to take me when we were younger. So it's kind of like a revitalization for the Book Center.
One of the other things I want to just add to that is because of where we are and because we want to attract as wide an audience as possible, we've added a little bit of a mix to the offer in terms of books. So for instance, we have a whole section that focuses on Belizean books. Okay. Right? We are trying and we look forward to hearing from Belizean authors and coming in and us being able to display their books. Additionally, there's a whole little, group of individuals that just look at books as a recreational activity, and especially persons who are frequent readers, they always come back and say, hey, guess what, there's nothing like reading a paperback or a hardcover book. So we have a lot of people coming in, and it's quite interesting to see how many people are coming in and saying and telling us these stories. And then there is the other angle of the manga books.
Oh, well, lots of people currently love Japanese anime or Japanese culture. And one of the ways that, many Belizeans find out about Japanese culture is through mangas and anime. And I've done a lot to bring in some of the source materials. Mangas, you know very popular series like Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer. Maybe you don't know.
No, I don't. I personally don't know.
Right.
But maybe some of our viewers out there may be more familiar.
I'm sure. And I follow it very closely, so we bring in what's very good. And it's also something that you can bring in, and it's particularly very popular in like young boys and girls, of course. But from time has been time, it's been hard to get little boys to sit down and read. So this is partly helping.
Yeah, definitely. With the age of technology right now, you've been in the industry for so long, watching people come in and out reading these books. Have you seen a decrease in book reader or in visitors reading books, or because of the age of technology, everyone is always on their phone or on their tablets, and they want to be more virtual as opposed to being present?
Right. Well, in terms of education, particularly, books still have their place. And throughout the world, studies have been done that it's going to be a combination of both books in hand and books online, particularly for tertiary level or above. But for very young level, for like primary school, it's much better to have something in hand, something that they can work with, something that they can write in. And it's something that we work with particularly closely because we represent 3 companies in the UK who have been making books for Caribbean kids for years and years and years. And they have been very up to date, and they've invested money in making sure that their books are up to date and technologically friendly, because you kind of have to learn to work with technology. It's not something to be scared of. And in terms of reading books for leisure, it's nothing like having a book in hand, of course, right?
Definitely.
And it's kind of like an intimate experience that you can hold it, close it, and open it back up. It's like, it's a gift that you can open more than once. That's what people often say about books.
Well, it definitely is a unique concept, and I'm so happy that you're gaining a lot of traction. But we do want to know, as an entrepreneur, what are some of the hardships that you faced while trying to launch your cafe or your coffee shop?
That's a good question. They're outside of the norms, because there's always a challenge of, figuring out how do we align. In our case, we have three owners here. We're all family. Right? So trying to find, how do we mix this in? How do we figure out where there is a good balance between the cafe and the coffee shop, and the coffee angle, and the book angle? I think we've been able to, and we're still growing and we're learning. And that's one of the huge parts of, I think, entrepreneurship. It never ends. So there's always lessons to be learned. There's always new things to try. And that's an exciting part of it, right? Since September, we've developed, for instance, what we call a coffee club. So it's a WhatsApp coffee club. And in a sense, we're sharing information on new drinks, but we also share information on books as well. We have hopes and dreams and plans to be able to develop our 3rd floor and be able to create a space where you can have a book club, a reading club as well. So we really want to continue to develop this concept. We have the beauty of the building again, so including some tourism in there and being able to tell a story for people who come in. So that's also underway.
Okay, so storytelling, book clubs, those are going to be amazing things to look forward to in the future. Unfortunately, we are running out of time right now, but we do want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on our show and to inform myself as well as the viewers about the heritage and the culture behind Bricks and Books, as well as the Book Center. So thank you so much, Katherine and Christopher, for being here today.
Thank you as well. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much as well.